Hi everyone, it's Melissa Sprouse-Brown, and today I'm here at the Alan Wilson for Governor event at Doc's Barbecue in Columbia, South Carolina, with a special guest, Ted Cruz, Senator from Texas, who's going to be here momentarily. And I can't wait to bring you all the excitement that we're going to have here tonight. We are at the Alan Wilson event. You can get started now, right? We're about to get started.
You look at the polling, you hit every event you can. Ultimately, it comes down to you. You are the endorsement that matters. You are the ones that we do this for. It is the voter. It's the regular South Carolinian that puts their trust in us, that you put your trust in us on June 9th. You're giving us another opportunity tomorrow, June 23rd, to say this is the future and the vision for South Carolina's executive branch, and we are honored to be a part of this right now.
Guys, give yourselves a round of applause.
Without any further ado, it is our honor and privilege to introduce Senator Ted Cruz.
God bless the great state of South Carolina. It is great to be with you, and by the way, y'all make some mighty fine barbecue. And you know, for a Texan, that's not the easiest thing to say, so I'm reaching out here. But look, I thank you for coming out, thank you for standing up, thank you for fighting for your state. You know, we live in extraordinary times. There are challenges facing this country unlike anything I've ever seen. We're seeing an enormous amount being accomplished, especially by President Trump. And at the same time, the far left, the Democrats, have lost their ever-loving minds. You know, I think back 14 years ago when I was first elected to the Senate. When I arrived, there was such a thing as moderate Democrats. They existed. You had one self-described socialist in the Senate, Bernie Sanders. Crazy Uncle Bernie, hair sticking straight up. By the way, would it kill him to comb his hair? He's a socialist. He could take your comb. But all the other Democrats, they're like, no, we're not socialists. We don't believe in this. They're all socialists now. If you look at their positions, it used to be everyone said we want to secure the border. Now what happened under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? We had an invasion at our southern border of 12 million illegals. What's happened since President Trump and a Republican House and a Republican Senate came in? We've seen illegal border crossings drop 99%. And as a result of that, nationwide, the murder rate has dropped 20%. And the number of deaths from drug overdoses has dropped 20% nationwide. There are literally thousands of Americans alive today because President Trump and a Republican Congress came together and said, we're going to enforce the law. The Democrat Party today supports releasing criminals, releasing murderers, releasing child molesters. Heck, they get on a plane and fly to El Salvador to have daiquiris with a human trafficker. This is a party that can't figure out the answer to the question, what is a woman? That didn't used to be a trick question. But for all of recorded time, you could walk up to a caveman and say, excuse me, sir, you know what a woman is? Yes, yep, sure do. That's one right there. I know that.
I drew her on the wall.
And you know what? This is no longer a divide between right and left. It's not a divide between conservative and liberal. It's a divide between reality and crazy. These people are nuts. And when they say crazy things to you, they know that they're lying. All right, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove to you right now that Joe Biden knows what a woman is. All right, in 14 years in the Senate, Joe, I've never once seen Joe Biden walk up and sniff Chuck Schumer's hair. He knows! And you know what? I'm even more certain Bill Clinton knows what a woman is. And that brings me to why I'm here. In a time where the left has gone crazy, where you get people like Comrade Mondami and the Nazi communist oyster farmer. We need red states like the great state of South Carolina to be a beacon of reason and sanity and safety and freedom. And that's why I'm here tonight supporting my friend Alan Wilson to be your next governor. My philosophy is simple. I support the most conservative candidate who can win. You need both. Have y'all ever noticed that politicians sometimes tell you one thing and do something else? And I got to say, I think back to years ago, I worked at the Department of Justice under John Ashcroft. And Ashcroft used to say, if I'm ever accused of being a Christian, I'd like for there to be enough evidence to convict me. Now, I think that is powerfully true, but it is equally true of being a conservative. If you're really a conservative, you will have walked the walks. You don't have to tell anyone because you will bear the stripes from being in the battle. And the reason I'm supporting Alan Wilson is he has a proven record of being a conservative over and over and over. When y'all elected Alan to be Attorney General, he was the youngest Attorney General in the country. And then you re-elected him and re-elected him. Alan has been a friend of mine for more than a decade. And you don't have to guess. On the Second Amendment, you don't have to wonder, where's Alan going to be? On religious liberty, you don't have to wonder, where's Alan going to be? On the question of fighting to defend economic liberty and no taxes, and by the way, Alan Wilson will abolish the income tax in the state of South Carolina. Texas did it a while ago. And for what it's worth, I think at the federal level, we should abolish the IRS. There are 93,000 agents at the IRS. I think we should put a padlock on that building and put every one of them down on our southern border. By the way, if you think about it, can you imagine you're coming to this country illegally through heat, through incredibly difficult circumstances. You get across the river, and the first thing you see is 93,000 IRS agents. Heck, you turn around and go home too. But look, it's one thing to promise that. You can be confident Alan will deliver, because he has a record of delivering on his promises over and over and over again. South Carolina, why is it that people are fleeing big blue states and coming to red states like South Carolina? There are a lot of reasons, but the number one reason is for the jobs. And Alan is going to fight, and for safety, and not having, like, your kids trans and all sorts of, not being nuts. Those are all helpful. But jobs, you have jobs when you have a common sense conservative governor who's going to limit taxes and reduce job-killing regulations, and that's what Alan Wilson will do. So tomorrow, on Election Day, I want to ask every one of you, come out and vote for Alan for a strong conservative governor. And I will say this campaign has enormous momentum right now, including President Donald J. Trump endorsing Alan Wilson. And with that, I give you the next governor of the great state of South Carolina.
Thank you. We're violating some fire codes right now, so I promise you I'm not going to talk very long. First off, let's hear it for Ted Cruz, everybody. Senator Cruz, thank you for being a conservative leader. I'm so grateful to have Senator Cruz. I mean, he's been with me all day. We've been going from one corner of the state to the other. Folks, I'm not going to talk long. I first want to start by thanking my wife, Jennifer. Oh, there she is, right there. And my son, Michael, and my daughter, Anna Grace. Hey, did y'all like that commercial that they cut? They're TV stars now. By the way, they weren't acting. They really do treat each other like that. Ladies and gentlemen, what a year it's been. It was 1 year ago tomorrow night. It was June 23rd, 2025, that I announced my race, my campaign for governor. And there have been highs, there have been lows, there have been ups, and there have been downs, and there have been days where I didn't think I could win, and there have been days I felt like I couldn't lose. But I'll tell you right now, through all of it, your support has sustained me. And I'm here tonight to say thank you. Thank you for helping us out over this last year. I am so excited about the future of South Carolina. And when I was campaigning, I needed a partner. I needed to pick a running mate that you just heard from. This running mate needed to be someone that people could look up to, someone who is inspirational, someone who is aspirational, someone who is a uniter, someone who could bring people together and point South Carolina to the future. And I found that person, and I've decided to make her husband my running mate. Thank you, Charisse and Mike Reichenbach. Any great help? Can I do good? Can't hear you. Can I do good? I wanted someone that would be emblematic of the type of people I plan to put in government. People that are going to take us to the future. People like Mike and Charisse working with us hand in glove. I want to thank you. Having you on this journey has been a blessing to me. I love you, brother, and I appreciate everything you've done. Ladies and I know it's hot in here. I know it's hot. But this is what I want to say to all of you here today. I'm not going to give you a political stump speech, but what I do want to say is this. 2 weeks ago, many of you came out and you supported me. Some of you have been with me for a long time. And to those of you who've been supporting me during this journey, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your vote. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for the support, the text messages, the Bible verses. Those things, they lifted me up. They encouraged me. I could not be here today without all of you. Some other people I want to say thank you to. My mom and dad. My dad's sitting up here on the front row. It's not an accident that all 4 of their sons are Eagle Scouts, all 4 of their sons are commissioned officers in the military, all 4 of their sons served overseas. That's not me bragging on us, that's me bragging on my parents. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end of this campaign. The momentum is real. The energy is real. We are going to win tomorrow. Everything is pointing to that direction. The future is in our grasp. But here's the thing, it only happens if you turn out and vote. I need you to turn out and vote. You need to call 10 of your friends who aren't here tonight. Whoever you got, send them an email, send them a text message. There's a drop-off and runoff, so we need you to turn out and vote. I believe tomorrow is going to be the end of the beginning chapter that's going to take us into the future of South Carolina. Now, I said this 2 weeks ago. Folks, I have not prayed for me to win this race. What I pray for is for me to be in God's will. And if it's God's will for me to lose this race, then I pray for the grace to accept it. And if it's His will for me to win this race, And I pray for the courage to do what I need to do to be able to best serve you, the people of South Carolina. Mike said it earlier, and I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to wrap it up because it's hot. Okay, I get that. Ladies and gentlemen, when Mike and I were talking about what our message to the people of South Carolina was going to be when we were campaigning, we needed a North Star, a true north, if you will, something that we would wake up every single day and we would think about it, and it would drive us in everything that we do, whether it's policies implemented, laws passed, personnel put into positions of authority, whatever it was. Our true north and everything that we would do would be to make living in our state more affordable for your families, to make our economy more profitable for your businesses, and to make our government more accountable to you. Everything I do will be built on that. You have my word. I do not promise you perfection. I can't be perfect. I don't promise you that I won't make mistakes. There's no human that can. But I do promise you this. I promise I will be accountable to you. I promise I will be accessible to you. And I promise you that I will never stop fighting for you. I'm so incredibly grateful to President Trump for placing his faith in me this past Friday and recognizing the 10 years of fighting for his agenda that I've done. I'm so grateful to him for that endorsement. I'm incredibly grateful for Senator Tim Scott's endorsement. I'm incredibly grateful for Ted Cruz's endorsement. I'm incredibly grateful for the north of more than 80% of Republican sheriffs, 3 who are here tonight, for their endorsement, and the countless legislators, city council members, county council members, school board officials, political activists, and whatnot. Their endorsements mean more to me than ever. But the most important endorsement I could ever hope to have is the endorsement that each of you gets to do when you walk into the booth tomorrow and you cast your vote. That is the endorsement that is most important to me. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to go to as many precincts as I can and shake as many hands as I can, because you deserve a governor who will never stop fighting and working and will never take it for granted. Because this office does not belong to me. It belongs to every single one of you. The office of governor, like any political office or government office, does not belong to the occupant. We hold it in trust. And the day that I no longer recognize that this is your office and it's mine is a day I no longer deserve your consideration. So that I'm here tonight asking you to hire me to do this job, to get all of your friends out there to hire me to do this job. Endorse me at the ballot box by voting for me and Mike Reichenbach, and together we're going to take South Carolina to heights she has never seen. I love you. Thank you. God bless you. And let's win this thing.
Hi, it's so nice to see you again. What amazing energy in that room. I just am so excited for what's going on. Tell me, what's your perspective from today on the campaign trail?
In a word, gratitude. Just grateful for all of these folks who would come out on a hot, sticky Monday evening and show a tremendous support for the vision of Alan Wilson for governor and Mike Reichenbach for lieutenant governor. The gratitude for these folks who would say, this is important. Our state's vision and our future is important. And we just want to tell them that it's their endorsement that they do in the ballot box when they vote that we really appreciate. That makes the difference, and we are energized by that.
Absolutely. Well, I would just like to hear from your perspective, what's different now than when you first started on the campaign trail? How has it evolved over these last almost 12 months?
Well, I started in January, and it was a week before the Senate session started. So the duality of being in session all day as a legislator and then being on the campaign trail at night, it's a wonderful opportunity to hear what's on the minds of South Carolinians. 46 counties and crisscrossing our state, to hear what's on the minds of South Carolinians is so important. More listening than talking, because what we realize is that the needs of the upstate are important, but they're different than the Midlands, they're different than the Low Country, and rural South Carolina to urban South Carolina. Hearing the needs of South Carolina across the broad spectrum is such a wonderful opportunity. That's how we'll legislate better, and that's how we'll work better in the executive branch.
Right, absolutely. So you just spoke about the needs being different in different areas of our state. What are the main needs that you are hearing from the public?
Well, it's going to vary. If you are in York County or Horry County or Charleston County, growth in the infrastructure needs and the congestion is a huge quality of life impact. Conversely, you go to Bamberg County, Allendale County, Hampton County, Marion County, and those folks are desiring industry. They want growth. They have opportunities. So it's not a one size fits all. And that's why it's so important for Alan and I. And that's why we've loved the opportunity to hear from constituents across the state, because you're going to rehear that the needs vary.
Right, absolutely. Now, we've heard from others in the campaign about a business background. I know you are a small business owner. Tell me about your experience as a business owner.
Well, the experience is being forged in the crucible of tough times. Sharice and I, we bought our first dealership, the Ford dealership in Florence, South Carolina in 2008. That's right, we couldn't pick a worse time.
Oh, let me tell you, yes, I'm a business owner as well, and it went down in 2008. It was so difficult.
It was difficult, and the nights you lay awake at night and you wonder if you can make payroll next month.
That's right.
And can you pay your quarterly taxes, and how do you keep your people employed? Those are the nights that you realize that, Lord, I need you. But we need our customers, but it's a fiscal responsibility to say I'm going to manage by the P&L and by the balance sheet, and how can I minimize our expenses and still provide a good quality. That's what we learned that government can learn more of. Spend less. And any government agency out there can spend less money. That's why Alan and I are so proud to launch that Families First audit initiative that I'll be leading. Look, as an accountant and a corporate auditor with years, decades across the world doing corporate accounting and finance, we learn on how can you be more efficient and more effective in a business unit. Why don't we bring that to government?
Absolutely. So what's your closing message for voters as we near the election day?
The closing message is simply this. The polls look great. The endorsements are important, but none of it matters until they show up tomorrow to vote, until they encourage their families and friends and their network to vote, because it's all academic until you show up and vote. And that's what Alan and I are asking them to do, is show up and vote and let their voices be heard. Men and women have given their lives for this right, and we'd be honored to be the recipient of their vote.
Absolutely. Well, good luck tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Senator Cruz, thank you so much for being here in South Carolina. My question to you is, what can we do in America to help our senior population? So many seniors are unprepared for retirement.
Yeah.
They think that Medicare will pay for everything. It does not. What can we do to serve our seniors better?
Look, one very important step that a Republican Congress and a Republican president did is passing no tax on Social Security. And that's something over 30 million Americans have claimed on their taxes this year. The average deduction is more than $7,500. So that's real money in the pockets of seniors who need it, in the pockets of, my dad is 87, my mom is 91. That makes a difference. And by the way, they're both going strong. My dad's a pastor. He's still preaching. He's got the energy of a teenager. And my mom is 91, a two-time cancer survivor, and she's going strong too.
What a blessing. What a blessing. So what can we do for people who have family caregivers who are working for their aging loved one to make sure that they have the care that they need, but often they've had to leave a job to do it? Is there any way to better support them?
Look, that can be an incredibly challenging situation. All of us who have aging parents, that's an issue you deal with at home, and I think we should look at ways, tax provisions to give additional support to people who are doing that and help take care of our moms and dads.
How do you feel about property tax relief for seniors over the age of 65?
I think it's great policy. Texas has it, and I'm convinced that Alan Wilson as governor will do it here in South Carolina too.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.